Hello and welcome back. This video, I'm going to explain all about the 3 levels of the brain, how each level processes information, and how you can use those levels to refine your sensitivity and develop your intuition. So what are the 3 levels of the brain and how does each of them function in order to sort through your perceptions and pick up on signals that you might not be even aware of? First of all, there's the neocortex, which is divided into the left and the right hemispheres, right? Which basically is all about abstract perception. The neocortex handles things such as rational meaning, logic, understanding, but it can also perceive other things, such as patterns, for example, that exist in the universe, or mysticism, or perceiving non-physical beings, and linking you to a unified field of awareness and collective consciousness. Now, the left hemisphere is the one that governs logical thought and language, and the right hemisphere is all about intuition and creativity. The midbrain, which is right under the neocortex, is the level that handles sensory perception, for example, smell, taste, touch, hearing, vision, empathy even, and by extension, all of the clairs. The clairs are the extrasensory perception capacity that we have. For example, clairsentience, clairaudience, and clairvoyance. The lower brain, which is the reptile brain, is all about survival and perceives things through instant impulses and fight or flight response. This is the area that perceives subtle vibes. This is where your gut instinct, where contraction in your body is felt. Now, the way we process things through these levels is all the data starts coming through the spine, and the earliest point where information becomes conscious is the reptile brain, right? Because that's the first thing that comes exactly on top of the spine. Then the information is carried into the midbrain, where it takes on an extra dimension through the senses, the actual 5 senses, and finally it moves on to the upper brain. Well, all the information will now take meaning and be perceived through logic and language and become knowing. So if we're looking to emphasize sensitivity and intuition, we move down the ladder toward the body, from the upper brain to the midbrain to the lower brain. To emphasize abstract perception, we move up. If you're constantly in your left hemisphere, then you're flooded with words and thoughts and the paralysis of analysis, and this will definitely leave you stressed out. You're processing too much, you're analyzing, and this causes tension in your body. If you need to shift out of that, you can imagine moving to the right hemisphere and down to the midbrain, where you will tap into your senses. That's very important. These are your sensory perceptions here. And where intuition is more accessible and where you can shift to the slower alpha brain waves. By going further and down into your lower brain, you can ground into the body. And with outside focus now on your environment, you can calm yourself more deeply and relieve any stress or tension you might be feeling. If you want to activate your subtle sensitivity, it really helps when you close your eyes, because sight and vision is what connects you to the neocortex and puts your focus on language, logic, and tangible concepts. Closing your eyes and trying to listen to the sounds around you at first, and then near to you, and then inside yourself even, it will connect you to your more subtle knowing. When you do notice the sounds around you and maybe inside you, try going beyond that, right? There's another level, and listen to the sounds below the audible sounds. This is a technique that shamans use actually in order to listen to an organ and sense it out and see if it's functioning well, or a body part. And this is also used to listen and hear and perceive messages from your spirit guides. Then you can also move into tactile awareness, right? With eyes closed, you can sense inside you and around you, by noticing temperature, for example, or textures, or the fact that your head is hotter than your abdomen, for example, or that there's a certain texture to your skin or whatever. By doing this process often, you will be able to attune to a more subtle perception and develop conscious sensitivity now. Conscious sensitivity is very valuable. It's an amazing tool because it will bring you unseen and normally unperceived information about other people and their energy, about objects and their energy, about the vibration of places, the coming of events. You may start sensing the vibrational signature of an event before it even happens. And you might be also able to tune into different timelines. You may suddenly start understanding things like emotional data and perceiving them, as well as where they are stored in your body, because emotion is always stored in the body. You might be able to tell where healing is needed and how to achieve it. You might be able to know more about motivations, realize patterns behind behaviors, and eventually tap into high frequency states like joy, unconditional love, and bliss and enlightenment. The more attuned you become to this more subtle sensitivity, the sooner you will start picking up those signals, and the better the sensitivity is going to serve you. When you do this enough, your body is going to start picking up nonverbal information from the environment really early on, before this vibration intensifies, so that you can consciously recognize it and act on it. When you're not sensitive to this vibrational information, when you're in your left brain too much, you will be insensitive to it. You will not be able to listen to your higher self or your soul talking to you, or your body talking to you for that matter. If the information is important, it will not stop pushing your buttons until you actually get the message. Now, the way that happens is the following. Let's say you have attended an event where you suddenly have become tense, right? And by the time you get home, you're feeling nauseous. Now, what happened is you have disregarded early signals that were telling you that you don't do well with a lot of people, for example, and that you were actually picking up on their moods and vibrational signatures, and you were incorporating them into your own vibration. And all this was happening without you being aware of it and without being able to protect yourself, because you were not aware of it, you couldn't protect yourself. Plus, there was this low drone noise, for example, that was taxing your nervous system, and the fluorescent lights were adding to the stress. Obviously, you didn't pick up on any of the messages right away. You did not take measures to alleviate your body's reactions or concerns, and the pressure kept building and building, and your nervous system was getting more and more taxed until now you're on the verge of a migraine and you feel like throwing up. If you did become aware of the way your nervous system was beginning to become taxed, you could have immediately isolated yourself in a calm space, for example, or you could have stepped outside for a little bit, or grounded yourself somehow, or consciously worked to strengthen your own energy, right? Strengthen your own vibrational field and your aura in order to protect yourself, right? To keep the sovereignty of your energy and your home frequency. And this is what always happens if you fail to notice the first tiny signals of expansion or contraction in your body. The information is going to become more loud and then more insistent. Your body's going to whisper first, as we say, then it's going to gently coax, then it will knock on your door, and then it will start banging on it. And then, if you're still not listening, it might knock it down. What could have stayed is gentle feelings of contraction or slight pain, or a little bit of tension might build up to pain, to chronic pain, to illness, to trauma, and eventually an accident may happen, which is a loud sign for you to fucking pay attention. So if you start working with this, if you start developing awareness around the very subtle sensations and information that comes into your body, and you don't just dismiss it as random side effects of something, that can become your very own guidance system. You're going to know when a choice or an action is appropriate, safe, and attuned to your soul, to your purpose, and to your own path. by feeling expanding energy in your body. Your energy will be light, bouncy, expansive, enthusiastic, maybe playful. Whenever I get these feelings that a choice is right for me, my personal experience is that I will feel enthusiasm flood me. My cheeks will flush, my hands will tingle, my chest will swell with joy. I will feel this expansion, this amazing feeling. And I will know, right, that I have to follow that urge. I cannot resist following that urge. It's pushing me towards that thing. I will also feel it right here on the sides of my neck, like a feeling of tingling or heat. That's how I will know that I need to do it. It's different for everyone. What it means is following your highest excitement from moment to moment. On the other hand, when an action or a choice is unsafe or not right for you, you will experience an anxiety signal. Your energy will maybe drop, or you may feel a numbness or a tightening somewhere. Maybe you will feel a sinking sensation in the pit of your stomach or cold sensation throughout your extremities. You may tighten up or even feel paralyzed and maybe nauseous. That's another signal. You may also get a stomachache or an actual pain in the neck or tightness in the chest or even a headache. You may also suddenly smell something foul. So start doing these practices. When you walk into a building, for example, and suddenly feel a chill, that's not actually related to the outside temperature. What does this mean? Notice it first, question it second. When you're around a certain person, what does your energy tell you? Do you feel expanded or contracted? Do you feel at ease or do you feel tense? Sense into that. Tune in to what your body is telling you. If you need to do something but you keep putting it off, what does that mean? A phone call, for example. Does it mean that you need clarification about something regarding the situation, or that you're maybe missing a piece or data which you should wait for? These are the things really that you should pay attention to and practice focusing on. So use those things. Use the valuable information that your body is giving you literally every second of the day. Don't be so unconscious that you only concentrate on the outward circumstances to the exclusion of the messages that you are receiving every moment from your higher self that always has your back and that's always looking to keep you safe and help you achieve your purpose in this life. I'm sending you love. May you be happy, peaceful, liberated.